Hi, you're listening to the My Body, My Story podcast.
But I didn't take it and make it define me, or I wasn't concerned about it. It's like, I am who I am and I've got what I've got, that's it.
This is the 45 over 45 chapter where we celebrate rule breakers and role models, the women who inspire us to live life our way and to show their sensuality, beauty, soul, and true essence. Here, we talk about what it's like to be 45 plus, adjusting to the changes that come with time, and we listen to the stories of our participants. If you have an interesting story, we'd love for you to participate. You can email us at info@alexandrawalker.com. That's Alexandra spelt with a K-S. Or visit our website, alexandrawalker.com.
Hello everyone and welcome to the My Body, My Story project, and today with us Julie in the studio. And while she's sitting in the makeup chair and Agata is doing makeup and hair for her, I'll be asking her a few questions. Hi Julie.
Hi, how are you, Alex?
Good, thank you, and welcome to the project, welcome to our studio. And let's start and tell us 10 facts about yourself.
10 facts about myself. Well, I'm turning 60 on the 28th of February, so in 4 days' time, and I'm really excited about it because getting older doesn't bother me in the least. At least I'm here to experience it.
It's nice to hear.
I was born in Australia. I was born in a town called Cowra, which is in the central west of New South Wales, better known as canola country. Mm-hmm. So when you see all those pictures of their beautiful yellow flowers across acres and acres, that's where I'm from. Mm-hmm. And I was raised on a farm, so I grew up barefoot, crazy and running through the bush. Mm. I've lived in many different places. So apart from Cowra, I then moved to the neighbouring town when I was 16 and took up a job there in a bank. Mm-hmm. And that's called Bathurst. And then I moved back to Cowra for a while. I got married very young, very silly, but I did. And we moved to Canberra, which is, of course, the nation's capital, which to me was the big time. Mm-hmm. And then from there I went back to Kiama, which is a small coastal town just down from Wollongong. But I'm happily living in Sydney now. I've been here since 1990 and lived through many transitions of life. I'm single, with a friend with benefits, if I'm allowed to say that, as you do at 60. So I've just discovered that that's a good idea rather than a relationship. I'm a workplace trainer, so I teach interpersonal skills, leadership, management, coaching, developing people as my main job. I'm an aquarobics instructor, which is something I'm very passionate about, which helps keep me fit. I'm also a fitness coordinator for our area. We're on a maternity relief. And I currently work 4 jobs. And that keeps me fit and off the streets, basically, so I can't give too many people too much cheek. My favourite colour is purple, always, and lots of colour, so finding some clothes for the photo shoot was a bit tricky. Dark I can do, but light things, not so much.
But you've got a nice purple top, I know.
Yes, I do. It was only a few years ago that one of my best girlfriend's daughters came shopping with me, and she said, I've just got to do something with your wardrobe apart from purple. So she took me shopping and introduced me back to red. I hadn't worn red for 20 years because my uniform in the bank back then was red.
Bad memories.
Well, it was more that you just wore it every day. It's just quite interesting.
You got tired of it.
I got really tired of it. And it's quite hilarious sitting here looking out this window while my hair's being done. I'm looking straight ahead at the National Australia Bank Star because that's where I worked. So that's quite a coincidence. I think
nothing is coincidence in this life. There's a sign. It's a sign of something.
Could be. Hope it's not that I'm going back. So I think I'm done with banking for sure. So something I really wanted to talk about today about myself was sexual orientation. I'm bisexual. Mm-hmm. I lean more to the lesbian side of the fence if there's a side of the fence you lean towards. I've had both relationships and I'm probably happier with women. You do get a lot of conversation. You get a lot of shared tasks. It's amazing. Things get done around the house. It's quite incredible. I think that's because I'm that bit older, and I knew this right from a young age, but being in a small country town, this wasn't something that you did.
Challenging, yeah.
challenging. Well, you'd be bullied and ridiculous. And the first girl that I was interested in, I was just laughed at. So I locked it away then for 30 odd years. So, yeah. So it was something that was important to me to talk about myself.
So are you participating in the
Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras? Mardi Gras?
No, I'm not, because coming to the city at night's a pest. I'm a bit lazy, I think, is the problem. I would like to, and I think one year I will, but I'm just a bit lazy.
Yeah, but I wonder if this year they're doing it in the city, because I think the previous couple of years they did it on the stadium.
Yes, I think so. I think that was sort of due to COVID and a whole range of different things that was happening at that time. Yeah, I think you're right. So I thought about my favourite place, and effectively it's not really a place. My favourite place is the water. So unless I'm dipped in water every day, I don't feel good. So, and that's not just having a shower, that's a proper swim and a proper exercise. So anywhere where there's water, really. So when I plan a holiday, I look for hotels with pools, and I plot a map of where I'm going to by where we have swimming pools and or ocean beaches. So I love to ocean swim. I like doing Beta Bay swims out in the ocean. I swim at a pool every single day. So yeah, my favourite place is the water.
So you said you were instructor for aqua aerobics.
Correct.
And so if someone wants to join your class, how they can find you?
Oh, that's easy. Hornsby Aquatic and Leisure Centre. Just look it up online and look at our timetable. It's online on the website, and we have quite an extensive fitness regime. Even if aqua aerobics isn't your thing, maybe Zumba might be, or hip hop, or yoga or Pilates. We have instructors on all those particular interests, so you can join as a member or run a couple of sessions and decide what you'd like to do from there.
Cool, that's great. Perfect. And you mentioned you have daughters, you said?
I have 2 children of my own, so a son and a daughter, and I have 3 stepchildren.
Wow.
My eldest stepson is deceased, but I still have 2 stepchildren. So there's 2 girls and 2 boys, effectively.
Nice. So how they communicate with each other? Like, are they...
Near and far they are. So my eldest daughter lives in California, it's through Facebook, Messenger, that sort of thing. Her and her sister keep in touch a lot because her younger sister's here and she's over there. So Facebook's sort of the catch-up place for what have you been doing?
Yeah.
What are the pictures? What are the boys? How old are the boys and what are they doing? That type of thing. So my younger daughter lives with me off and on, depending on what the month is and where she's feeling as she might be at a partner's place. So at the moment, I'm home alone, which I've got to admit, I'm actually quite enjoying.
I was going to ask you, do you like it? What do you prefer?
Look,
of course you love your kids, we know that.
Yeah. I'm an extrovert, so I'm typically get my nourishment from being around people in the outside world.
Yeah.
However, sometimes it's nice to escape that outside world, and I've never actually lived alone. This is the first time I've lived alone, which has sounded a bit daunting, but you know what? You leave in the morning and you come back in the evening and everything's where you left it.
Exactly.
Which is a real bonus.
And nobody else making mess and
No,
only you.
You don't come home to a sink full of dishes when there wasn't one that morning. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So I think my passion really is, if I talked about my passion, is aqua aerobics and water. I enjoy participating in classes, which is what led me in during COVID to take up instructing, because I didn't want to get to the end of it and go, well, that was a waste of time, wasn't it? So I decided, well, I can't do anything or go anywhere, so I might as well study. Yeah. So I thought, well, that can give me an income, it's separate. That's also something I enjoy. It's nice to get paid for something you don't feel like's a task.
Exactly, yeah.
And I've enjoyed, I think, speaking of COVID, what came of it for work-life balance, especially for women. Being able to work from home a few days a week would have been an absolute no-no for most organisations that had looked at it and thought you had 3 heads if you asked for that. But now it's quite the norm. So I didn't find COVID such a bad thing.
You don't see that, but we having guys cleaning windows outside, and just one guy said hi to us.
Yes,
that was funny.
That wasn't what I was expecting today, but hey, you know, every experience is a new experience.
You've got an extra.
Yes, I know. I didn't realise I'd have a guest star.
What does aging means to you?
I think ageing's wonderful because I can take lessons I've learnt and apply them to my newly found life as a single person. And if I haven't learnt something by almost the age of 60, I should be giving up, I think. I think the longer you're around, the more interesting things you can do. And I think you get less worried about what people think. If people don't like what I'm doing, well, you know, too bad. This is my life and I'm going to do what I would like to do. I'm enjoying discovering life as a single person and with a friend with benefits, because I have to keep saying that because I'm not allowed to say partner. I was told not to.
So if you could go back to any age, what age it would be, and what advice would you give yourself at this age?
It's interesting because I haven't really sort of thought about that much after a close friend of mine died last year and my partner of 16 years left. And I just thought, well, I've got to gain a new lease on life now because I want to live every day to the max because you just don't know when that's going to be your last one. And I don't feel invisible, which is something many people over the age of 50 talk about. I still get compliments and graciously accept them, and I mean, hell, who wouldn't? I probably, if I had to pick an age, I'd probably go back to my early 30s self, and with my lessons learnt over the following 30 years, I'd probably want to be a better parent because I think I've got a better manual on it now than I had then. You were just trying things out. It was all experimental, and you know, maybe most of us didn't do such a crash hot job at times. So I think I'd take my lessons and give it to my 30-year-old self.
And let's talk about body image and how we perceive our bodies, and you know, around this theme. So if your body could talk, what do you think it could ask you or tell you?
I really like that. That was a great question. I think it'd probably tell me to slow down a tad. There's times I get into bed and I go, whew, that was a day, wasn't it? You know, I start out early in the morning with a swim and an aqua aerobics class, sometimes before 5:30, and then proceed to my next job and work all day. Sometimes I'm in a classroom all day teaching, and then I might pack up and go back and teach aqua aerobics and get home and go, oh. So I think my body would say, oh, for goodness sake, slow down.
You know, it's quite, looks like you have quite an active life, you know, and for age of 60, as you said, like not everyone can be proud of having that. I wish I had very active life.
It's never too late to change, Alex, never too late.
Yeah, I know that. It's just you need to do this one first step towards that.
Yes, it's just a matter of developing the habit and for it to become something that's about you. That look, if as I said earlier in the cast, that if I didn't get immersed in water each day, I'd feel weird.
It's the question I want to ask you. It's related a bit with the next question, but I will twist it a bit. Do you feel like with age, because as I understand, you do this aqua aerobic, for how long you've been doing that?
As a participant, I've been doing it since 2014, so that's what, 9 years?
9 years, yeah.
As a teacher or instructor, I've been doing it now, this is my 3rd year, so since 2020.
So do you feel that with the age, you have to slow down on physical activities, or your body is not taking as much as it used to? Do you feel any changes, you know, with age, that in terms of physical activities of the body?
Yeah, great question. Yes and no, I think is the answer, which doesn't help you very much. So I actually feel fitter now than I did in my 40s and 50s because of instructing. Though the flip side to that is that you do need to be conscious of knees, hips, and other areas that are clearly not as lubricated as they used to be because you're older. So long as you're mindful of how you're doing it and use correct techniques, there should be no reason why you can't keep doing this. I think one of the oldest instructors was in their late 80s when they passed away, and they were still teaching. So, look, I think some people slow down, and it's often dependent, I think, more on your health and genetics, that sort of thing, as opposed to absolutely having to slow down. I think when you slow down, you could actually stop, which worries me.
Yeah, because I heard that with age, when you train, like if before you could train 5 days a week or 7 days, probably nobody does that anyway.
I do.
And they say after 45 you should train only 3 times a week, just to let your body rest. That's why I asked you.
Yeah, well, I say that they have no idea. That's what I say.
You feel okay?
I feel great, yes, and particularly because it's water-based exercise. For the most part, for me, that you're not putting stress and strain on your joints, and that's the whole point of aquarobics, and that's why we have a number of older participants who say how great they feel. And we actually have a lady who comes on to sticks to assist her walking.
Wow.
And during COVID, she just said she felt miserable. She felt lonely because she was at home alone. She was used to having her aqua friends to go to coffee with and things. And she said she got stiff and sore. So she was worse off for not being in the pool, which is not surprising.
Yeah. And so how do you overcome body-related insecurities when they come up? And what's the go-to way bringing yourself into your body shape? I know you do the aqua aerobics, and obviously you have great shape, but I'm sure from time to time we feel low, and we need some kind of tricks to bring ourselves back to track. So what do you do, and has it changed since with age?
I think not so much with age, possibly with age only due to the fact that then you've got less kiddie duties to do, so you've actually got more time for yourself. So I think that's an interesting change as you get older. But I think it was more around my friend dying last year. That was a real metamorphosis for me to go, this could be really short. I best get on with it. So I've never really had a lot of body insecurities. There's been times when I've had more weight on than I should have, which was usually my fault, eating muffins or something. But I now really focus on how fortunate I am to still be here and to be healthy and happy. And I understand my body's unique and it's functional, so what more could I possibly want? And it's what I've got to work with. Like you can be as envious of someone as you like, or as envious of what you see or deem as perfect, but that's not what you've got. That's not the canvas you've got to work with. So you just need to be grateful for what you've actually got and make the most of it.
So what's your go-to method to bring yourself back to nice mood?
I do meditation. I do a thing called sound bath meditation with a friend, and it's basically a meditation with these Nepalese sound bells, and it is really peaceful. So I like to do that to bring myself back to earth. Also, swimming in itself is a very solo pursuit. So you've got time I can sort of meditate along, or I can plan my day or think about absolutely nothing. So I find that that's a 40-minute sort of relaxation session for me. Even though I'm working hard, it's still a time for yourself when you can bring yourself back to a comfort place.
Yeah, just to relax your brain.
Exactly.
So where do you think generally the main cause of body image issues?
Yeah, good question as well. I think inherently some people's traits and characteristics, some are more self-confident as a natural thing than others. So if you happen to be given a poor pool of genetics and you come from a family where looking on the downside of things is more the norm, and perhaps carrying a bit of weight or whatever you've been predisposed to, then you might be more vulnerable to some of the external pressures that happen about body image. So I've always been fortunate to be self-confident and pretty positive most of my life. You know, everyone has their down days, I do too. Though in general, I tend to look at the glass being half full rather than, you know, empty. I think what is exacerbating it these days, certainly schoolyard bullying, which we were talking about a little bit earlier, is a big thing. And I'm hearing from friends who are teachers that, you know, children as young as 8, 9, 10 are talking about being fat and, you know, what they look like. Whereas when I was that age, I wouldn't have even given a thought to any of it. So I think the access to media and much more of it in your pocket probably hasn't helped anyone who maybe can't extract themselves from that type of thinking perhaps, and then being bullied probably gives you lower self-esteem, and then so the cycle goes. But I think media certainly has a huge part to play in it.
Yeah, I was just, while you were talking, I was thinking, well, if a person, imagine the person lives on his own or her own on an island, and does he need a self-confidence, and would he have body image issues? Like, maybe
I guess if you've got nothing to compare against, you might not.
So I think that's what you said is a key word, comparison. Yeah. So that's what creates the
issue.
Insecurities, and the issues.
You're not going to be like the model in the magazine. That's just not everybody's built that way. That's why there's few models and there's more of us regular folk.
I think most of the people are regular, And it's interesting that old days the fuller body were in fashion, and now a slimmer, and then it just depends on the time, you know, what's the body image, or what body considered to be ideal.
That's very true. And when I was growing up, curly hair certainly wasn't in. Dead set, flat, straight hair was in. And of course, having curly hair, I was bullied for it, which is ridiculous, because there's not a darn thing I can do about it. It's genetics. I inherited it. That's that.
I can't imagine why someone would bully you because of curly hair.
I know. It makes absolutely zero sense. And that's why I could look at that and go, oh, seriously? Really? That's the worst thing you've got to worry about? You've not got many problems.
I think people just pick up things which are different from majority, and it's the reason to bully around, you know, whatever it is.
Well, I call it the pecked chicken syndrome. So when small chickens are kept in massive coops and whatnot, if one of them develops an injury or looks different in any way, the other chickens will turn on it and peck it to death.
Oh,
so
God.
I think humans are a little bit like chickens in a chook pen.
Oh God. So do you think that negative body image can affect relationships, and how?
Definitely, without a doubt. I think it affects sexual intimacy. If you aren't happy with what you have and feel good about it, you definitely would be less inclined to be more sexually intimate, or dare I say even adventurous, because you are more concerned about certain aspects of your body. And of course, being naked is the ultimate, I guess, outing, if you like, of what your body really looks like. So I think intimacy is definitely affected. And to some extent, probably even just conversation and your confidence to have an equal relationship and have a say. You might feel like you're not good enough, and so you might not express your wishes as to what you'd like to do in life.
I just had another question, like spontaneous question. Like, what would you do? Like, for example, you have a partner who you love a lot, or you're infatuated with, and
that sounds good.
Suddenly this person is saying like, oh, you need to lose a bit of weight, or you need to put on weight. So what would you do?
Absolutely nothing. I'd do what I needed to do and go, well, I'm sorry, you're no oil painting yourself, pet. I'm not going to give you advice on what to do, so don't you give me advice on what to do. Yeah, I definitely stand up for myself and say, I'm very happy the way I am. Thanks very much for your concern. I'd like to think that, the person I'm involved with would not say that at all. But yeah, I guess there's plenty of people who do receive that, and I certainly have. I remember being in a longer term relationship where that partner said, your legs aren't your best asset. And I remember that, that feeling like an ouch, but I still didn't believe it anyway. So.
And you forgave the partner for that? Or
Yes, that partner was a little bit more obsessed with perfection and thinness.
Didn't it leave a bit of a scar?
Scar. Well, I guess the fact that I remember it and can repeat it means that it was embedded in my head as a memorable moment. But I didn't take it and make it define me, or I wasn't concerned about it. It's like, I am who I am and I've got what I've got. That's it.
Excellent. So my last question, I love it a lot. And do you have any favorite quote about being a woman or saying?
Yeah, that was really hard to actually choose, because there's so many women I admire, and they're from all sorts of walks of life. But I guess I had to come back to, because I had to choose one. Being an aquarobics instructor, I really love music, and I sing badly while I'm doing aquarobics, which I encourage everyone to come and sing badly with me. And I like Shania Twain's "Man, I Feel Like a Woman," because there's a line in there that says, let me find where I've put that one, that "Man, I feel like a woman. The best thing about being a woman is the prerogative to have a little fun."
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we get a little bit too serious with life and bogged down. So remembering that life can also be fun.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing your story. I really enjoyed, and hope you will have amazing photo shoot.
Thank you.
And amazing birthday celebration next week.
Yes,
thank
you.
This week
Would you believe it? I'm working.
No. Although if it's aquarobic, I would believe that.
Yes, that's right. I'm working. But hey, that's a normal day for me, so why not?
Thank you, Julie. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
If you have an interesting story, we'd love for you to participate. You can email us at info@alexandrawalker.com. That's Alexandra spelt with a KS. Or visit our website, alexandrawalker.com.